Welcome, everyone, to the NotInHallOfFame.com elevator show, where myself, Kirk Buchner, and Chris Mouradian, we look at who in the last 30 days have made the stronger Hall of Fame case for and who hasn't. And if you're wondering, hey, maybe this is a little bit late, it's because we're recording this on August the 8th. And initially, we were going to do it last week, but it was a little bit rushed because Chris and I actually met for the first time a few days ago in Canton, Ohio. And
Yep.
if you're watching this, you can probably figure out why Canton, Ohio. And it was the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Chris spearheaded. Actually, we were in the press box, so that was a pretty cool thing for us both. We got to meet all the other people in the Not in Hall of Fame crew. And I can say this to you, and as I will say about Jack Silverstein, Ron Katz, and of course, Evan Nolan, you're all even better in person.
Yeah, it was a great time meeting up with all you guys. Paul was there. Um, didn't get
Oh,
to
Lawrence, I
didn't
knew
get
I
the
was
chance to bump
forgetting
into Ron.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Jack and yeah, Evan. Yeah, the breakfast Saturday morning.
Mhm.
Actually getting to sit down with the six of us and talk there was a good time. And
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for having me as part of your team here, and
Mhm.
look forward to doing it again next year.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I know we're hoping that we might do a little more sort of like a recap of the hall with some of the other guys. But just a quick question for you. Uh, what was your favorite speech and why?
Favorite speech. There wasn't really much of a speech, but the whole work that was put into to have the bust in the McMichael home to allow
Yeah.
him to see his Hall of Fame bust. Yeah, I know the Pro Football Hall of Fame, ESPN. They did a lot of work to make sure that happened, and so that was probably my favorite presentation. We'll say it's a speech from the weekend that I think that was the one that hit everybody the most there, and with
Yeah.
good reason. How about
Absolutely.
you?
Yeah, I think that was my favorite moment, but I think my biggest surprise, and by that point, because you stayed up, I went down to like to be there on the floor, and what blew my mind was here's a, although I'm not wearing a cap, but tip of the cap to Texans fans. You guys are awesome. You traveled so well. You represented Andre Johnson beautifully. I couldn't figure out why they saved him for last. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. It does now.
Yeah, they had a very strong contingent there. Could hear them up in the press box. They we represented well, and happy for them. They got their first true Texan Hall of Famer now in
Yeah.
Andre Johnson. They'll have another one in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Somebody there was already scouting out the hall, I think. So
Yes. Yeah. It was it was a fun time. No matter how wet Chris and I got, but
yeah,
but
that was
that's okay. It's something that we're gonna figure out more down the road. Like I thought I left Seattle to get away from the rain. What did I know?
yeah.
But yeah, it was a great time, and kudos to all involved. Kudos to the new members of the Hall of Fame. It's always like a
Yep.
time where I don't want to talk about what they get wrong. I always want to talk about who's in, and let's just celebrate these names. Yeah, because
Exactly. There's plenty of other time to have the debates about who didn't make it and why not and everything else like that. Yeah, this is the
yeah,
time to celebrate those that were selected and give them their day in the sun or
yeah,
rain showers and then sun.
absolutely. Well, I guess this means we're going to go right to the elevator, and because we're doing this a little bit later, this means we got a lot more. At least I do. I'm assuming you do, and I'm going to actually probably promote actually elevator up for our hall. Perfect time to plug it. The United
Oh,
States Athletics Hall of Fame. Chris had his first ballot this year, and he helped decide who was on the ballot But we don't decide who gets in. All of you do. So you can go right now and vote. And it's an even easier URL than last year. www.theusahof.com. Super easy. You can vote on athletes, coaches, contributors, and you can vote actually every day because it'll refresh
Yep.
itself. And that's really what it's all about. This is the only time where you're going to know what the vote totals were. Nobody else does this. Well, the baseball hall does, but that's for another time, I suppose. Uh, yeah. So I've got three ups, and I had actually a fourth, but I'm going to hold off on that with the
Okay.
fine with the I was going to say NBA finals, but with the gold medal game. So I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
have a different one, but I have three ups and three downs. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I
End of an inning.
end of an inning. Yeah, there you go. Uh, but a few of that is again for the U.S. Hall or the respective
Yep.
ones. Uh, should I start?
Yeah, go ahead, kick us off this week.
Okay, so there's going
The
to be
month.
a first ballot gymnast in the United States Athletics Hall of Fame, and yeah, we're promoting our product, and why not? It's a great thing. Someone else should have came up with it before us. She's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. We don't have a gymnast in the hall. We're not even close. Mary Lou Retton's on the ballot, but she didn't do particularly well. But when Simone Biles is eligible, I don't see how she doesn't get in immediately. I don't want to say redeemed herself in 2021 because that's not really fair. I do believe that language matters, so she did choke. Evan didn't like it when I said that, and I understand his position, but it was a choke. But I don't know how anyone else under the pressure that she was under would have even got there. Because let's not forget, she wasn't just the face of the gymnastic team. NBC made her the face of the entire Olympics. So she has that going on, and she's still coming off all that bullshit with Larry Nasser and the gymnastics scandal, where she underwent, and her friends and colleagues underwent a whole bunch of crap. And also, I'll say this: United States, she's lucky, and you're lucky that these gymnasts even decided to compete for you, because there is
Yeah.
precedence of others. I don't know if you know this. There was a Canadian crap. I meant to look this up and I forgot, but she was either in skeleton or bobsled, and she went through some sexual misconduct with a coach on the Canadian team. She left, and she won gold for the United States. Because she did not feel that they had her back, and USA Gymnastics, they didn't for the longest time. Her story is incredible. I can't see when you look at her and you look at her compete and you look at her smile and you just look at this great life that she's put together. I don't know how anyone dislikes Simone Biles. I don't.
Yeah. No, it's very well said. She was somebody that I had on my list as well for this month.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, probably the most obvious. Well, one of the most obvious of the bunch here. Correct. I mean, she's just basically, if you want to say fought back, she fought back from what she had to go through. She wants to get and put herself out there and just dominates. When she's on there, and she hit
Yeah.
her routines, hit her marks, and brought home more medals for the United States again this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, as you said, like what should be an easy first ballot USA Hall of Fame selection when
Yeah.
she reaches 50.
And she'll probably look the same.
Yeah, she will.
I don't
Yeah, she
think that
will.
woman's gonna, because she doesn't look any different, which is.
No,
But what actually? How old is she? She's got
I'd
to
have
be
to look it up.
closer to,
I don't know.
yeah, she's got to be closer to 30 than 20.
I would think so with
Yeah.
the
So,
amount
oh,
of competition she's been in.
also too, for those watching, after you watch this, go YouTube Simone Biles' first pitch. She threw out the first pitch, I want to say, in an Astros game, and she just. I'll leave it at that. It makes you like her even more. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
I turn it to you,
Good
sir.
start.
Wow.
All All right. Well, we'll stay in the Olympics, but we'll move to a different sport. And what else can you say about Katie Ledecky? What she's been able to continually do in the pool there. Couple more gold medals now. The most is it the most gold medals for a female athlete in history now?
I believe so.
9.
Yeah, 9 Olympic golds. 'Cause that was one of mine
Yeah.
too. And so I have
Okay.
her as also a first, as someone who's now, I don't see how she's not a first ballot. The only thing that works against her is she's not very famous despite her success, relatively speaking.
Right. And we do have some swimmers already on the ballot, and
Hmm.
some
None,
very accomplished swimmers that were eligible to be put on the ballot this time that didn't quite make it. So
yeah.
she's definitely going to be somebody that gets put up there for the USA Hall of Fame, United States Athletic Hall of Fame. So um, again, just phenomenal job, just putting everything out there, dominating the little graphic that was floating around X showing how far ahead of the rest of the field she was when she was
Right?
swimming her 1500 meter. It
Mhm.
just when you see it you watch it on TV and then you actually see the little graphic afterwards, you can just tell how much better she was than the rest of the field. And you know, very happy for her and what she's been able to accomplish, and look forward to nominating her for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. And I'm sure, swimming Hall of Fame, whatever kind of
Yeah, she's already that. And
yeah,
US
exactly.
too. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's also too 21 world titles.
Yes.
21.
Not just Olympics. Yeah, she dominates everywhere.
What more can you say other than wow?
Yeah.
Should we stay with Olympics? I've got another up. You probably have that. You might have that one too. This
Sure,
is
let's stay with the Olympics. I got a couple more here that could fall in that category.
yeah. Go ahead with that, and I'll get mine up.
All right. How about Scotty Scheffler?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So world number one golfer goes to the Olympics and wins a gold, and does it in pretty spectacular fashion.
Right.
Coming back with
That's a
a
good one.
9 under in the in the fourth round there to win was pretty amazing. Golf is not something that I'm very familiar with or play or watch or anything like that, but to see somebody that is considered the best in the world, kind of struggled to start with, fall behind some very, very good golfers, and then to be able to come back under pressure that last round and just do what he did to take home gold, on top of being a world number one, on top of the majors that he's won. I think he's somebody that will definitely be in a Hall of Fame when he decides to call it quits.
Yeah. Golf Hall of Fame isn't that hard, so he's probably done that. Now it's enough. I think at this point. Uh,
Sure.
yeah. Saying that. Yeah. That's. I remember thinking that, and then I just forgot all about it when I was putting it all together. So
Yeah.
I had that, and then for whatever reason, it just slipped my mind. But yeah, that's a really good one. I guess I'm going to go with another up, and now this kind of makes her a lock, I think, for the Olympic Hall of Fame, because you don't know what she's going to do afterwards. But the most decorated one of this games is Tori Husk. Am I pronouncing that right? Or is it Husk or Husky? I'm not sure. But 3 gold, 2 silver in the Olympics in the pool. Only 21. So there should be a lot more in her, but you never know, you know.
Right.
So, but that if
So
go ahead.
I'd say it's a lot of work to maintain that, and
Hmm.
it's she's young. She definitely could have a couple more Olympics in her. Swimmers tend um, to be able to last a little bit longer in their sport. So yeah, that's a nice pick there.
Well, Janet Evans got a medal over when she was over 40. Was it Janet Evans or no? Sorry, Dara Torres.
Torres,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, Dara Torres.
who's on the ballot for the United
Yes,
States Athletic Hall of Fame.
yeah, she is
If
one who.
you're
Yeah, actually, that's one I was really happy. when that was got through, because that was one of my picks. And sometimes you get these picks, you don't think they're going to go through. But Cammy Granado, we're working towards you. We're trying really hard. Get two hockey
We'll do
guys
a little
here.
more politicking.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we'll do a little more politicking next
yeah.
time.
We had to stump the pavement on that one, huh? Maybe get some more hockey people in it. I'm gonna go something. This is gonna be a deep cut, a real
Sure.
deep cut, and I just added this uh, 3 hours ago. I was
Okay.
recording, and it's for basketball because I'm going with Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder was the shocking MVP of the last FIBA championships, and Schroeder's been a decent NBA player, not an all-star, never really was close to one, but on the international level, he's a pretty special player. Germany just got bounced by France today, setting up what will probably be my highlight of the Olympics because I'm a big basketball junkie. So France versus the United States. This is a golden era of French basketball. Uh,
In
but
France as well.
yes, absolutely. So if Germany would have gotten past France and they made it close at the end, Schroeder, his only path is that international selection. That's his only way to get it. If by hook or by crook, he leads them to a win over France, the host France, and then over the United States, that's pretty damn good because this man comes alive in these tournaments. So
Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty deep cut there. Not somebody that was
yeah,
was on my radar, but you have some great points there with the NBA or sorry, the Basketball Hall of Fame,
mm-hmm.
because it is not just the NBA. They do have the International Selection Committee where they do
Mm-hmm.
look at the work done outside of NCAA, outside of the NBA, and he is somebody that does have a decent case for that selection committee. So I like where your mind's at on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, even just to get to become a nominee, because it's so weird. You don't like again. Did I ever vent about this before to you? I know I have with Evan. I might not have with you, but I'll just vent again. ESPN
Sure.
did this article about a year ago, and I thought, oh, finally we're going to find out who's on because it just says unraveling the. I might get the title wrong, doesn't matter. But basically, it was like unraveling the mysteries of the NBA or Basketball Hall of Fame process. Great, who's on this? How many? All we really found out is, well, we're not going to tell you, but just trust them. So thanks. I mean, for all we know, the
Yeah.
international committee is some AI chatbot. I don't know. I'm sure it's not, but we know absolutely nothing. And usually they get a pass on most of it because they don't get a whole lot wrong.
No, the special committees on the Basketball Hall of Fame, they do a pretty decent job.
Mhm.
You always quibble with a few here or there, a couple of seniors that maybe you feel personally are being
Yeah.
overlooked. Um, but
Well,
with the
what?
international committee, the women's veterans, the uh, and I think there's a third one in there. I'm blanking on right now, but
Another
they
veteran.
they seem to do yeah they seem to do a pretty good job if we don't know how they come about their selection process.
Yeah, I mean, like even in sort of like the regular channel, it's not they're usually not that wrong. The only problem is then sometimes you wonder just how much weird stuff goes on behind the scenes. Like I will maintain that Chris Bosch, whether like if Tracy McGrady's a first ballot Hall of Famer, then Chris Bosch is too. But I think Bosch was left behind on purpose because they had that killer class with Garnett, Duncan, and Kobe. So you got to hold somebody back so that maybe you can sell some tickets.
Yeah,
I honestly believe that, but I can never prove it. Uh,
yeah, and we'll probably never know.
yeah, I've got two more. What do you got?
I have two more as well. Both of them are ups. So if you want to roll with some continue with roll the ups? Or you want to throw your
Well,
downs out there? Or?
let's do your two ups because my two are I got two
Sure.
downs.
Sure. Well, let's go to track and field here with Noah Lyles.
Mhm.
So I'm sure the highlights been around on social media, on
Roll the
TV,
photo
everywhere.
finish.
The
Yeah.
photo finish, and when he does that in his what's not considered his best race, he's able to come out and win gold there. Pretty special. Only took bronze in the 200 today, which
Mhm.
is kind of a disappointment, but he was not 100% healthy. So um, take it for what it's worth. But he did bring home a gold. He is the fastest man in the world, which is the moniker given to the um, champion of the 100 meters. So he does have that going for him right now. And again, he's somebody that can probably has another Olympics in him that he can come back and hopefully
Mhm.
double gold next time.
Yeah. Well, they haven't done the men's as of this recording. They haven't done the men's 4x100 yet, have they? So
Not that I'm aware of.
yeah. So I imagine he's on that team, so he could still win that other gold medal. And you're right. Also, too, in the Olympics. Well, I mean, all gold medals are equal, but not all events really are. Even
Right.
in track, like if you win the 100 meter, you are a legend. If you win the 400, oh, that's cool. It's not necessarily fair. There was this incredible race that I got to watch. It was, as you know, I was on the road for most of the last week. I just got back yesterday, but I got to watch the 1500, which generally is not
Oh
a
yeah.
race. I mean, like I was looking at because we have an American winner there. America, oh
Hmm.
my God, they're killing it. This might be one of their biggest. I have to check this because usually China was on their butt and the Russians weren't allowed to compete. But I think, with the
Right.
exception of maybe '84, I have to check on this. I wonder what the biggest gap is between the United States leading medals and whoever is number two. It's
Yeah, probably 1984. But again, too, there you got that's an asterisk one as well. So
well, yeah, that's definitely an asterisk. I mean, what the Russians aren't what they used to be. So, but still, I mean, they're not here. Uh,
mhm.
I don't even know if any because I know some Russians were allowed to compete, but I don't even know if any of them actually won anything. If they didn't
And
compete under the banner, I
haven't
don't know how that works.
yeah, haven't heard. Um, yeah, I'm blanking on the dude's name that came back and surprise win there in the 1500. That was um, something
What's it supposed
something
to?
special. And yeah,
It,
you're right.
yeah, because they
And
were.
have
Look at that up.
my son is distance runner for high school, so he
Yeah.
pays attention to those kinds of those races. So he was pretty stoked with that win and um, talking about it. And it's I gotta find the guy's name now because
Cole Hawker. I just looked it up.
there you go, Cole
Yeah.
Hawker. Yes.
Oh, so you weren't kidding when you said, like, 'cause when we were racing in the rain, although I wasn't racing too much in my brown loafers, and even if I had run, I wouldn't have gone much faster. I'll admit. Oh, so because you
Yeah,
say you got to keep up with your son. Okay, cool.
I try. I lost that race a few years ago. He's really something out there, and his
Nice.
season's just getting started here in the fall. So
Uh,
can't
I,
wait to see what he does this fall.
nice. I was gonna have you do the next up, but this actually ties in with my with one of my downs, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so much as being the fastest man on the planet is something attested to the 100, so is it with the women. And unfortunately, one of my favorite athletes to watch, although she is her own worst enemy, and that's Sha'Carri Richardson. She didn't win. She
Hmm.
finished second. I mean, she still raced well, but Sha'Carri is somebody who should be a star and isn't. She got screwed in 2021. I don't give a crap if you smoke pots. It's stupid. But she handled that like a pro. Didn't blame anyone but herself. If she would have lost her shit. I would have been with her on that because it's a stupid thing to do. But then right afterwards, she goes competes in the worlds, does very poorly, and then gets then acted up. It was really weird. She got kicked off a plane a year ago for doing something stupid. I don't quite know what she did, but as she's leaving the plane and everyone's sort of applauding because they won't leave unless that person, whoever that is, and she's famous enough for people like us, but if she just enters the plane, most people aren't going to know who she is. But we
Mhm.
should. She's that good. I call her like FloJo, only prettier. She models but she does. She modeled herself after FloJo with the long nails, the vibrant hair. This woman
Mhm.
is meant to be a star. Oh, when she was kicked off, she said, "But it's okay. I always fly private anyway." Well, then why didn't you? It's. I was cheering for her. She didn't win, and sadly, you pretty much have to win these things, or at least get gold in some capacity. So, and I'm not just even talking about the U.S. Hall. I'm talking about a track and field hall. I'm talking about the U.S. Olympic Hall. These are things that will haunt her. She'll be 27 in the next go around, and bluntly, the women's, as we've seen, it's really hard to come back.
Mhm.
Men can hold this longer for this particular race. Women don't seem to, from what we've seen in Olympic history. Uh, Maybe she can win the gold in the 4x100, but it won't mean as much. The luster isn't there. And this is someone who should have the United States by the balls, and she doesn't. Through some fault of her own, through just being outraced by, and congratulations to the country of St. Lucia with their first ever medal. And what a medal it is. Gold in the 100 women's. Pretty damn cool. I mean, so I gotta give that country props. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased just being in the Caribbean for a bit, having lived there for, well, not in St. Lucia, but in Barbados for a few years. So, but it, I kind of like that when these little small these countries get gold out of with their first. It's really cool to watch. That's the stuff that the Olympics is all about. Oh, can I go on an Olympic rant?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I was gonna say this because I'm recording two shows tonight. One with Evan. This might come up. This might not. I don't know what his good, bad, and ugly is. I have a feeling he might go here, but is it too much to ask? I know that each sport has their own set rules for competition and whatnot, but Shikari is actually a good example of that. I mean, like I know they sort of figured that out when Ross Rebliati, I'll always remember that name. He was a snowboarder who won gold, Canada's first gold medal on home turf, by the way, at the Vancouver Olympics. And then he tested positive for marijuana, but he got to keep it anyway. You know, so but Shikari couldn't compete because she tested positive for that. We have the two boxers who are, I believe, intersex, so not trans. I mean, that's what a lot of people thought. And so, but if Leah Thomas can't compete, I don't know how these two can if they're both double X. So, and Caster Semenya of
No,
South
XY.
Africa, XY, sorry, I
Yeah.
XY, but no, yeah, if they're XY, sorry. So because those two failed a gender test or sex test in the
Multiple.
worlds.
Multiple
Was it
tests.
multiple? Okay, I didn't know it was multiple.
Yep. Yep.
Either way, I mean, like, there's got to be something universal to figure this out, whether one way or the other. Because if I'm Caster Semenya, who the track, because after sort of like she went there one, I believe, they pretty much did everything they could to keep her out. They even set a rule, and it was only really directed towards her racing specialty. So I just want some kind of consistency for I don't think that's too much to ask in this sort of Olympic environment, is it?
No, especially when you have the technology to get down to something that is definitive.
Or just be consistent. That's all I really want them to do. I'm not going to go
Mhm.
on a whole rant about the two boxers. It's not really a place I want to go to. I just want it to be consistent throughout because it hasn't been. And realistically, boxing or the federation for that had to know this was going to happen.
Mhm.
They had to because that already happened with those two people, the one from Taiwan and the one from Algeria. And let's also
Mhm.
face it, these are not two countries that really have a whole lot of Olympic pull.
No,
So they
not
had
at all.
time to figure out something. That's
Yeah, this was known going in. They clearly did not. They underestimated the pushback on it, I believe, and just thought everything would be uh, swept under the rug or whatever. So consistency, I'm with you there.
yeah, that's all I really ask. And I go back and forth in my head as to what I think is right. Especially if you sort of like grow up one way all your life, you look down and it looks like a female part, but inside there's something else. I'm no biologist. I don't want to, my heart kind of goes out to these people because it's got to mess up your head, especially if you're in a country like Algeria. Because when the first story first came out, like a trans woman in Algeria, like, wait a minute. I don't think that that's something that that country sort of allows, let's be blunt. And it turns out they don't. So clearly, this person thought this their entire life. And probably, who knows? I don't know. Get me out of this.
All righty, so
My own
I
fault. I
have
brought up
another.
this rant.
So I have one more up. Do you want to roll with another down? Do you want to go with the up here?
I know. Actually, you know what? I'll do my down so we can finish on a positive note.
Sure.
Uh,
Okay, fair enough.
all right. I went to baseball. I could have used this name a long time ago, but I think we can sort of like put the shovel and bury this man's career at this point. In 2016, he was the young star of the Chicago Cubs, winning a World Series. He would 2 years after that, he would be the runner-up for the MVP in the National League. Signed a giant contract, signed an even better one with the Detroit Tigers, and he might be one of the worst players in baseball right now. It's Javier Baez. He's not going to come back from this. He's got an OPS plus of 37. 37. 100 being average. He's batting under 200. He swings at everything.
Mhm.
And even worse, his fielding, and he's an infielder, he's barely average at that now.
Yeah, he looked like the next superstar and
Hmm?
got paid like it. And I don't know what happened. He just he looks like he doesn't remember how to play baseball anymore. I mean,
No.
the it's just I think at this point here with his career, it's just snowballed so much that he just can't get out of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of uh Chris Davis, not Chris Davis, from Baltimore.
Yeah, yeah. Chris Davis was Baltimore.
Chris, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
first baseman from Baltimore. Yeah, he had the breakout year, got paid, and then just
Mhm.
just had to be paid to go away because he just
Yeah.
forgot how to hit the baseball, and it wasn't from lack of trying. It's just I think at some certain point it just gets into your head so much that you just can't get it out, and you're just kind of stuck there. You're just fighting yourself more than you're fighting the game, and you're not having fun anymore. You're not doing what you enjoyed as a kid. Um, Everybody's trying to tell you how to fix what you're doing, and nothing makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of where Javi is now. And you know, you're right. I don't think he's on a roster next year,
Well, like
even with his contract.
he's still owed another 75 million.
Yeah,
Uh, and Detroit, I mean, like that was a ballsy move to go up because it still felt like they were still rebuilding. Like maybe that's something that you add when you think you're ready to make that jump. And Detroit didn't feel like that team, and obviously this did not work out for them. It's if they were even halfway good, they have a sneaky Cy Young contender in Tariq Skubal,
yeah.
who's having a really good year. That if you're not in Detroit, you're not noticing.
You don't you don't know about it. No.
Yeah, and there's no reason to. And a big part of that is just that's a lot of money thrown for that. And we've seen some decent players who look like they could be something. I don't know how like a little like, kind of special. Tim Anderson, who at one point was a pretty exciting player to watch, he's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Randy, never pronounce his name right. Rosarina. Why is that so hard for me to pronounce? I don't know. Uh, a player that I really loved watching in Tampa, and then he was my favorite player watching in the World Baseball Classic. I don't know if you watched any of that. Great story. He defects from Cuba, gets to
Cuba.
Mexico, then
Yep.
he gets to play representing the country that pretty much saved them. And
Hmm.
is one of those players. He's got that factor, and so Tampa just traded him to Seattle. I hope he can sort of turn that around. Maybe I can see him play because he just I can't not cheer for this guy. But we've seen that Andrew Benintendi might be in contender for the worst player of the year. I'm kicking around, going like maybe just going backwards and looking at who would be the least valuable player of every team of every year. Pujols would have been that a couple of years. I mean, I think you've got to be the only time you can ever win that. You've got to be a really good player at one point.
That, and I think, yeah, and I think one of the factors to that has to be what you're being paid. You
Yeah,
know, like it or not, when you're paid that much, you're expected to be the person on that team that's going to carry the team for a week when everybody else is kind of scuffling along, and
yeah.
you can't even carry the team for a game,
That's his
an
narrative
inning.
now. I mean, because
Yeah,
the only thing he can still do reasonably well, he's still relatively quick, but if he doesn't get on base, what difference does it make?
you can't steal first, and he doesn't have the patience to take the walks or to get on that way. So
No, I mean, like, so I was checking. He's got like 7 stolen bases so far this year, which you wouldn't think is all that good, but considering how often he gets on base, it's not that bad.
yeah, no,
But
that's you're right. That is kind of a disappointing career that seemed to start out very high.
yeah, so yeah,
Excellent.
so
All right,
let's end this on a really positive. Let's go out strong.
I'll try. I'll do my best here. I'm going to stay with baseball, and I'm going to go with Salvador Perez from Kansas City Royals.
Ooh, another player I really like.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of the midseason All Star, but baseball did just have their All Star game. He was selected as a starter again, which
Mm-hmm.
is his ninth time. So he is still a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
He is what's more important, though, I think, are the postseason awards. He does have 5 of the Gold Gloves and 4 of the Silver Slugger awards, which is something that's taken into consideration over a full season, not just the first 3 months, and doesn't have any fan voting influence on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those awards are much more important. Obviously, Gold Glove catcher is a pretty important recognition there. Usually, you try to have the up the middle as your strongest defensive areas. Catcher obviously controls a lot of the game with the calling of the pitches, framings, controlling any kind of running game, things like that. So he just kind of quietly is sitting down there in Kansas City and just continually putting together solid season after solid season after solid season. And
Mm-hmm.
looking at his career as a whole, and we got a catcher that was just selected this past class with Joe Mauer. We're gonna have Buster Posey up in is it this year? Is he on this year's ballot? Is
Uh,
this year or next year?
uh, I
So
don't think it's this year, but it's coming up soon.
yeah, so we're gonna have another catcher there. So we're gonna have some modern peers that he's gonna be able to compare his career to,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a little bit more work to do, but he's continuing to put up the numbers. He's
Yeah.
continuing to win awards. Just wanted to take a couple minutes here and just acknowledge that he's had a damn good career, and
Wow.
looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing how much longer he can continue to be a catcher and
Uh-huh.
um, play that premium position there.
He's also got a couple other things that work in his favor. Like
World
Mauer,
Series MVP.
yeah, World Series, uh, World Series MVP, and unlike Mauer, he's been with the same team. Well,
One team.
I
Yep.
mean, that could obviously change in the future. Also, too, he's like everyone likes the guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
He's
does
a very
not.
likable guy, and
Yeah, it doesn't hurt when it's people voting on people. No, they're all press people. I, you would think I'll like the guy,
mhm.
unless there's any reason not
Clearly,
to.
he's popular with the fans, as
Yeah,
with the All-Star selections,
I
and
like
not
that.
just selections, but starters. Yeah.
Uh, there's one guy that I mean, the advanced stats don't bode well, but I could make a case for Yadier Molina.
Well, I think Yadier Molina is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I think just on his defense alone.
Mhm. Also, World Series champion, just another first baseball player I think I ever saw with a neck tattoo. I'm sure there's got to be like 200 cents, and there was probably some before that, but
Yeah, just
yeah,
yeah. Yadi is he's 4 years out, 3 years out, something like that.
yeah. So like that's someone who I'm big on. I like Molina. I like Perez. I like that one. That's a really good one. I was kicking around a few others, but I in baseball, but I thought I just wanted to just wait a little bit more. There's a few players, and that might sort of bleed into more of an end of season thing. Just sort of like do a retrospect of that. Although I might have to do a couple because Lord knows there's not much going on in August. So
No,
yeah,
preseason football and baseball
and
and
if
auto
we're doing
racing. Yes.
yeah, and if we're doing a football one, it's because somebody got hurt.
Well, yeah, yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
and hopefully we don't want to see that.
No, we do not. No, we do
The
not.
game is better when the superstars are playing.
Got that right. All right. Well, this is another good one. I like it. Again, we implore you to go vote. www.theusahof.com. A lot of other changes happening soon on notinhallofame.com. Another list has just got revised. Shout out to Aaron James Freeman, who does our country lists. I like country, but I'm not nearly qualified to. I mean, if I put the research, I'm sure I could, but thanks to Aaron, I don't have to. And it's actually something, even if you're not a country fan, check that out anyway, because you might be amazed at who's not in the Country Music Hall of Fame. They're very much a small hall. Only like one person in modern and one in veteran gets in each year. So you got some pretty big country heavyweights that are on the outside looking in. So check that out when you have a chance. A lot of other lists, top 50 lists have been revised, and I'm working on something special for the Hall of Fame monitor. Chris, you don't know this yet, but you're going to be helping.
Oh,
Just now you know.
excellent. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, as my brother said, voluntold when he was in the military for 30 years. So, yes. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it'll never come again. Take care, everyone.
Night.